So whenever it comes to being on social media, it's normally a smorgasbord of a variety of mixture of opinions, people's thought processes on different things, right? But the thing that gets me is sometimes I really do sit here and wonder about why people are so freaking mean on social media. So personally, I have been on social media since I want to say 12 years old. Probably shouldn't have been on social media at that age, but yeah. I've been on the internet for a really long time. Keep in mind, I am in my mid 30s now. I have dealt with a variety of situations where basically, people would say mean things to me. Now, it's never consistent. If it was, you end up blocked. But, I've had a variety of situations happen where people would say some out of pocket things to me or just be rude. Yeah, today I just wanted to talk about potential possibilities as to why people could be mean, as well as how to deal with people being mean on the internet. So, firstly, I find it very interesting that a lot of people do believe if you put yourself out there, if you share something on the internet, you should be willing to be talked about. I think one thing that I don't really understand the concept of is when people will say something mean about somebody on social media, like if it's a content creator, influencer, whatever. This person basically expresses like,
I don't really like that people are negative to me or spread rumors or do these certain things to me.
Sometimes somebody in the comments will be like,
well, you chose this because this is the career path you chose, or you chose to share this information, so you should be willing to put up with it.
Like it's a natural form of thing that should be in your experience. It's just so weird to me how people think just because you share an opinion or share a piece of yourself on the internet that they should feel entitled to say whatever, whether good or bad, or to force their perceptions on you. I will never understand it. I don't understand people who think like that, where they feel like,
well, since you put yourself out there, you should be willing to deal with whatever people give out.
No one should have to deal with that, whether whoever you are, celebrities, regular everyday people. It's like, why do you think it's okay that people should still be criticized or bullied or, cussed out, or where people talk a whole bunch of mess about them just because they chose to share some information or chose to share their opinion? It's like people just don't be knowing how to talk to people. And they're like, well, no consequences or confrontation. A lot of people are pretty much like,
I can post whatever I want. It's not like you're going to do anything that affects me. Even if you're across the country, wherever. Nothing bad is going to happen to me for me saying something negative about what you're doing or what you said.
It's also the fact that they can hide behind a fake account or fake picture. I do not like getting into arguments with people who don't even have a real picture, because I'm like,
you a waste of time. A waste of space.
Not necessarily a waste of space, but it's like, if you say something wild to me, you're literally using a cartoon character as your profile picture. You don't have the balls to just wear your actual face? I bet not. It's just so much easier to just ignore people who are like that. Also, you just don't know. It could be a bot. Some people, I feel like they do set up bots just to be mean to people, which is absolutely insane. There was actually this quote I found recently where someone said, give a man a mask and he will show you his true face. And I feel like potentially that could be true when it comes to some of these people who make these posts and these comments that are negative. Sometimes people will project because they don't like themselves or they don't like certain situations they're in or they've been through. That's not your problem. Listen, babes, that's not my fault that whatever you're going through is what your life is. It just is what it is. Focus on creating a new situation, but you shouldn't feel like you have to take out whatever frustrations you have on somebody else. In connection with that, sometimes the internet is kind of a safe space for people to let go of their frustrations and their anger when it is very misplaced. So people will share with you comments about things that they don't like in relation to you or whatever is going on potentially with them, and they feel like it's safe because, again, like I said before, there are no consequences. They can easily disengage. It's so simple to just leave a comment, type it, be like,
oh, I know this is going to make this person feel bad,
and then dip out. You don't even have to react or anything. You could just know. Sometimes they just feel like,
oh, this person read my comment and they're going to feel bad about themselves.
There's also the factor of groupthink, which groupthink mentality is something that I don't really care for at all, because I have seen so many situations where, let's say somebody makes a post on social media like Twitter.
Because I've seen this happen multiple times.
Somebody can make a post on social media, somebody else will come in and leave a comment that actually is logical and thoughtful, where they share their little 2 cents about how somebody could handle a situation differently, right? Now, because the main person who created the post comes at them with some type of dig or some type of insult that has absolutely nothing to do with what the topic was about, people will like and support their comment just because they made a funny insult.
You ate that.
You know, stuff like that. And that's actually something I just genuinely do not like. I guess people can take something that someone says, even if it's logical, they might take it personally. And so they'll just use it as a time to bully them, and then other people would jump in. And it's a lot of groupthink where it's like you missing the point of what somebody said. They could have gave you some constructive criticism or left something there that was actually helpful, and then you feel like because you didn't like the advice or whatever comment that they left, even though it was not rude or disrespectful, you take it upon yourself to be negative and to bully them, and then everybody else ignores the logic and they support you because you said something that was an insult and they thought it was funny. I really do not like stuff like that, because I'm just like, bro, y'all really lost. Whenever I see situations like that on Twitter, I just be sitting there like, so you basically insulted them even though they gave you good advice? And then y'all supported her because the insult, I guess, was funny? I don't know. And maybe it's because I'm older now. I just be looking at stuff. When I see people do stuff like that, I always just think, man, I hope that they can change their perception or their attitude towards somebody, you know, towards situations. Especially if I were to go through the comments, I just feel like people who are like that end up having tougher situations within life unless they change their mindset. But stuff like that happens all the time where people be kind of bully-like. And again, it's that groupthink mentality where
it's better to get one up on somebody. It's better
if, you know, you can embarrass somebody and put them in a place from your perception versus just accepting something and learning from something and just being like,
You know what? You're right.
and I don't know what that is. It's almost like people's pride and ego be too above actually growing sometimes. The next one is they just want you to hate yourself whenever somebody leaves a comment. Sometimes they just literally just want you to feel bad about yourself or to look in the mirror and be like, ugh, you know, I need to fix this about myself. That's one thing about me, like in the past, and it doesn't happen too often, surprisingly, on this YouTube channel, I don't really get too many mean comments, and if I do, I just block people or hide people from channel. I've had situations where people have said certain things about myself, and it would never make me feel bad. I would just kind of be sitting there like,
Unless you're gonna give me some money, don't talk about me.
you stating something that's obvious. I don't know. It's stuff like that where I just be like, when somebody leaves a comment about something very apparent, girl, everybody can see, or I can see. I see myself every day. Are you mad? I don't know. It just be so weird. I never forget. It was this one YouTuber that I watched, and I brought this up in another video. She was talking about some of the mean comments she's gotten over a period of time of her doing YouTube or whatever. I remember she basically was talking about how somebody was like,
I absolutely love your channel. You are so funny, but you're not that pretty.
It was either you're not that pretty or you're ugly or something like that. Bro, what? What was the point of even saying it? And also, she's not ugly.
What was the point of even saying something like that?
Sometimes people can just go to hell. You know what I mean? It just really don't be making sense to me sometimes when people be leaving some of the comments that they leave. The other thing is, sometimes people just want attention and they want to feel important. They want acknowledgement. And this is why most of the time, it's just better to ignore people. I know people like to address things, clap back and stuff, but personally, I just won't give you a voice. I just will make sure you don't have a voice to ever say anything again. There's the factor that people don't like when someone challenges their opinions, especially if it's something that they strongly feel in disagreement with or where they feel a certain way about. I can't tell you how many situations I've been in where I've made a video and somebody would disagree with me. And I'm okay if people want to disagree with me, because I do leave my comments open where I'll ask a question where I'm like,
hey, do you agree or disagree with this, this, and that?
And sometimes people will disagree, but they'll do it in a respectful way. And I'm like, that's cool. Sometimes we may get into a little debate in the comments, and I'm like, that's okay. But there have been other times where people have just been absolutely rude, where they'll say something out of pocket, say something about women in general. Like, they will generalize a group of women. I've even had one or two situations where somebody's called me out my name. When it comes to those situations, it depends, because sometimes I'll inform people. And what's funny is when I inform people in a way where you can't misunderstand what I'm saying and I say it in a very polite way, sometimes people will actually go back and edit their comment and remove some of the negative stuff they say. And then they'll keep talking with me where they're like,
okay, she isn't what I thought she was.
Because, sometimes people do reject. But then other times, it's just easier to ignore people and hide them from your channel and hide them from having access to you. There's also the lack of empathy, and I feel like this is unfortunately a growing thing that is happening when it comes to social media. I don't know what's going on, and maybe it could just be social media in general, the fact that people are behind a screen. A lot of people are starting to lack empathy, sympathy, just any type of care when it comes to handling other people's situations and emotions. A lot of people are very self-absorbed when it comes to navigating other people's situations, especially people that they have no connection to. It is very concerning.
I don't want to get political.
Because I was going to bring up something really specific, but I'll just say it's something to be said about people praising people for doing horrible things just because they view another person as horrible. For example, some men dislike women because of certain experiences they've had in the past, or some women don't really care for men because of experiences they had in the past with them. And sometimes genders do lack empathy for the other gender, and it's just very interesting seeing that one or a few situations can cause people to decline within handling others with care or being sympathetic or empathetic, whereas
dang, I can see this bad situation happen to you. It sucks that happened to you. That shouldn't have happened to you.
Versus people being on social media,
well, what did you do? That probably happened because you did something that you shouldn't have.
Stuff like that. And there's also the fact that sometimes people just lack manners. I don't know what happened, because I was raised on treat others the way you want to be treated. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm not going to say I always practice that, because sometimes I do pop off on social media in the past. But I will say I try to have some sort of manners when it comes to interacting with people, because
I don't be knowing people. People don't be knowing me.
It's better to just be kind, be cordial. You don't have to be doing too much, but you don't have to go out of your way to be rude or disrespectful or out of pocket. A lot of people, they are showing their true selves because they are on the internet. Some people could be trolls or bots, but I do have to even mention, sometimes it'll be people that'll create fake accounts and will be saying some negative stuff to you, and they'll be smiling in your face during the day and then going home, hopping on their little apps, just tweeting some out-of-pocket stuff that they more than likely would never say to your face, but they secretly have some animosity or hatred towards you. Because I've actually seen and heard of people doing stuff like that, where someone they know that they thought they was friends with turned out to be their whole internet enemy. Insane work, but it does happen. So now I'm gonna share with y'all how I personally deal with trolls and people who are mean. So I know some people, they'll just acknowledge them, respond back, clap back. But unfortunately, this can be a reward to some people where they're like, okay, they're acknowledging me.
Acknowledge me, my tribal chief. I worship you, my tribal chief.
WW reference. Anyways, wrestling reference. Anyways, some people will definitely be like that. Or they'll just be like,
I just wanted the attention.
I don't really condone interacting with trolls, because sometimes they'll just post and they'll just have the last word, well, not last word, but they'll say what they'll say, and then they'll just go about their day like,
ha ha ha, they're thinking about me. I ruined their day. I made them upset.
It's weird. absolutely weird. You can ignore it if someone says something to you that you don't like or says a horrible comment to you. You can report it if you want to, depending on what it is. You could. My favorite thing to do is just block people. And I know sometimes people may make other accounts to try to come back, but I would just block somebody. And I'm really good about blocking people. Just how you feel, that you ain't allowed back here. And somebody could create as many accounts as they wanted. I would continue to block you. Continue to block you. Now, once I reach a certain point, let's say if I ever became a YouTuber that had a whole bunch of comments coming in, then it's like, I'll probably ban specific words. That way I won't even see it. But yeah, it's just easier for me to just block somebody and that be it. But let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. How do you guys feel about people who are mean on social media, where they'll troll people, give criticism, and it's not constructive at all, it's just mean or hateful? Let me know your thoughts. How have you handled situations in which someone was mean to you online or even bullied you online? What did you do? Did you clap back? Did you ignore it? Did you block them? Let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you check out my other chit chat videos. Stay blessed, stay positive. Bye.